Hello, this is Warpath 1985 speaking in today's video review. Discussing the Gundam HGUC Zaku 2 Kai. I shot like that on the first try. So this mobile suit first appeared in the Mobile Suit Gundam 0080 War in Pocket OVA. From it was like 1989 or 1990. It was before like Stardust Memory and obviously OVA this team. The other like when you wore adjacent technically animes that came out after Star Wars Counterattack in 1988, I believe, when it came out. It was like 1987 or 88. Aside from that, the Zaku 2 Kai is a little bit weird of a kit. Obviously, it's a much older kit because it's like back in 2007 or 9. It was before we got like much more modern articulation like schemes from 2009 to 2010. That general just unicorn era of like high grade where you start getting just general and just more innovation. However, there is this point where we're getting like some pieces here and there that general like just innovation, like increased articulation, especially like in the legs, because usually in most other like kits, the legs were usually like the most like limiting factor of all of them. The armors were okay, mind you, but the legs were just always just the most limiting like just thing about them. In the Zaku 2 Kai's like case, it's like a lot better, especially when compared to its previous iterations, and also the Zaku 2 that was released a few years earlier, back in 2003, around like what was it called again? It was like Gundam. I forgot what it's called. It was like another Gundam anime. This was all the time. It was MS Igloo. There we go. MS Igloo was also on that time. Of course, as I mentioned, I will be just showing again more images here, would be the various like weird kits they made out of this mold, because this mold has been used many times, but also not during this mold, it's more as design has been used many times, but most of the molds that they have released are kind of more just redecos. One of them was the unicorn version, which came with like a Zaku 2 bazooka. The one that came with the 2003 version, or just the 1.0 version. It's okay. I'm a little confused it didn't come with like a Sturmfaust or anything else like that. It just came with the bazooka and the machine gun or anything else. It was like the Heat Hawk. But yeah, it's just very, very simple kit. I might get one day, might not. I don't know. It's just there. And we will get like another one, like just some figures just using other parts from the kit, or just in general. I think we got like some sort of like weird special like version, like metallic whatever. Probably, I don't know, but I love using those things like once in a while again. But other than that, we just only have like this kit, and this kit only in high grade scale 1/44. We would like get more like from RE100 etc., which we did finally get that Commander Finn version of the Zaku 2 Kai, which was seen in War in the Pocket by, I forget his name, but he was the captain of the commanding officer of the Cyclops Team, and we never really saw that ever again. We didn't really see it in much media, technically. We saw it like in the anime, and do some like art, maybe manga, because he loves using the obscure stuff and the old obscure stuff. But other than that, we just wouldn't get that much out of it. Something I do want to mention that I probably never got will be like a common defense version of Zaku 2 Kai, which is a different some version. Because I don't think we ever got that. It was a very simple, just repaint. We never got it. And with that aside, let's go on to the general kit. As you can see, I did obviously paint it from last time I showed it on the YouTube channel during the Zaku 2 reviews. And I painted it up in this little desert scheme, which I probably showed it in earlier, well, it's based off of, most likely. But other than that, the kit does come with a few accessories that, some of which are technically, mind you, movable, but you might do some customization technically by just cutting the general hands, or not the hands, but the general bits off. That being the grenades, which I believe in the RE100 are individual just grenades, like most like master grade stuff, where it's just the are like individual bits, custom missiles and grenades, etc. But goes to high grade, you have to go look at like what was it, the origin and really modern high grades for you to get like those like really cool specialty things like the what's it called, the Gabari Beta. Although yes, it's inspired by the actual grenade launcher, like a smoke launcher, it does have it. So we do have that on that scale, like 1.44, but it's not as like notable. But yeah, so we hear the grenade too, which also is again painted. Yeah. But the general accessory the figure does come with, because again, it depends on what version you have. If you have the P Bandai version, it'll be a lot more, but if you just have the standard version, it is just what you see, which is a couple different hands, which I haven't put it back together, but just was not want to fit in. Let me see. There you go. So we have a trigger for your hand, which will have one trigger for your fan for the right hand, which is okay. But it's a downgrade compared to the previous version of the Zaku 2, which is the 2003 version. Although with that, the other hand was replaced with the open hand. So you can like hold the grenade launcher, or technically just like put it on the hip, whatever. Just try to depend on what pose you want to do. Or mind you, if you have a little tiny little I forget his character, was his main character like in Warren Pocket, you can get that same from the Warren Pocket figures. Get a left fist, and you also get two like heads, that being the Fritz Helm and the General Zaku Kai helmet. But the head I personally displayed with the Fritz Helm, which is why it's painted. You also get a Hidok with a small little like adapter, which just plugs onto there. Let's go ahead and paint this one too. Mind you, one of the ones I do want to mention is the difference between the U.M.P machine guns, which I sadly only have the two here, because there actually are multiple versions in the high grade line chest scale. So I have the Rectum 2 U.M.P machine gun, and this is the Zaku 2 Kai one. So you can see there's big difference in size and general dimensions, details, etc. And yes, both of them are painted, so that's why they look relatively the same. But there's a big difference in size. The only notable difference between them, other than just the size, will be just the additional grenade launcher. But other than that, they're just the same, but much larger. However, you do have a removable magazine, which I did paint the little, technically bullets, even though it's just a little clip. But yeah, it's cool to have a little removable magazine, but it does not. It's a little solid piece. And if you're curious, it technically fits in the hand. Like, it works, but it's very loose. No matter like how hard you just squeeze it in there, it's very loose. But yeah, that's it for accessories. Nothing much that's included with the actual kit. But for articulation, however, it's a lot more extensive. So we have your standard just high grade articulation for the time, which was better than previous high grades, like 1999, 2003. That's kind of the worst you can get. The best you can get is always just modern high grades, but this is still okay, mind you, but still a little limited compared to like later kits. Like the one I have is technically the most recent will be the Ian Groton Zaku Cannon from the Origin line. But yeah, it is. It's like that good already compared to those for kits. So you get basically like a 90 bend, swivel, ball joint, hinges, very limited butterfly, some movable arm panels, a ball joint at the head, which is a hinge technically, ball joint at the waist, more movable armor panels, ball joint at the thigh, and it has a shifting joint, which you can give like a better seeing position for the kind of like scene from the anime. Not just iconic, just very notable. You have a pretty decent bend at the knee. It is very limited because of all the general molding detail back here and just the pipes and etc. So it is limited, but it just works. And you got the various bits of the ankles, which the ankle version is okay, mind you, but it's once again very limited because they're still trying to like just get better at it. But it is a lot better because once again the twist of the Zaku 2, because again you can't really pull this general articulation at the ankles with that mold like at all. So before I go to the general just comparisons with other figures, I am going to show off the He-Hawks here because it is kind of really not necessarily important, just it is noble. So as you can tell, all the He-Hawks are just different. 2003 version is very small compared to the Zaku 2 Kai version of the He-Hawk, which I'm trying to focus on there, but it is struggling for some reason. It's like so close on my hand and stuff, but yeah. Significant size difference. You have the origin one here, which is still not as big when compared to the Kais, but it's much bigger than the version that was released with the 2003 version. Yeah, the unactivated version was the smallest overall, because the unactivated version is, well, not extended, because Zaku 2 He-Hawks do technically extend, mind you. Like most of the other heat weapons, except for like the heat saber and the heat sword, I believe. Just the cold one, mind you, not the actual heat sword that's used by the goof, which is technically used by an machine, so just weird. Mostly see the adapters here, which are once again very different. The Kai uses like this little tiny, like kind of looks like a little Lego hand like adapter. This supposed to like a little hold. While the standard origin one does not have adapter, but the the unactivated one has one, but it's again a little peg, similar to the Kai's, but it's actually moved on there. And you have the one with Tesla 3, which has a little like holster, or just a general adapter. So it's not that big of a difference, but it is once again noble. Aside from that, let's move on to the general comparisons and kind of end the video there because nothing else I can talk about this for your sus kit. Alright, so let's start off the comparisons with a couple kits here and there. Firstly, the Zaku 2s, which I have in my general collection, that being the Zaku 2 from the 2-pack and the Zaku 2 from the single release. Now, both of them are just the 2003 mold. I'll just paint them up into different colors as well. And, it looks good together with the Zaku 2 Kai, with Fritz Helm. Nothing really else to say, just they look good together. Let's have the Zaku 2 Cannon, the Ian Groudon version, or generally the Rabbit type, or the Rabbit type custom, whatever, from the Origin line, which is a really good kit, mind you. It's one of the few higher kits that actually has a opening cockpit here, which is really cool, but really weird. For all the kits I can think of, Zaku Cannon wasn't like the one I would be thinking of that would give like an opening cockpit. But again, it's cool. I'm like, really? Huh. Also the Goof Custom, which is another really good kit. The one major problem with this one is that the waist skirts, general armor panels right there in the waist, do limit the leg articulation, which is pretty sucky because the Goof Customs known to be very live and agile as a general kit. Or just mobile suit. And the over the Miss Team, but also other just general media. I also have technically 2 out of the 3 United Maintenance Plan mobile suits I do have in my collection. So I have another one, but I'll show that a little later. Mind you, this is not all the ones that generally exist in the high grade line. There's also the Zagaki, the High Gog, and the Gogu Jaeger. Just that one, I think. I mean, the many various Stormtroopers and etc. But also just another one, I forget its name, but whatever. But yeah, awesome ones getting to look good together. And finally, the Stormtrooper, the other United Maintenance Plan number I have in my collection, which I didn't know it was part of the United Maintenance Plan. Maybe I should have, because the Stormtrooper was the basis for the Gundam 2 prototype, or the Gundam HGUC. And it makes sense, kind of ish. I don't know how they built off a ground-based mobile suit and turn into just a Gundam, and also part of the United Maintenance Plan, because it was already part of the United Maintenance Plan. Yeah, the lore is really weird. It doesn't really make sense, especially since the Gundam is more or less like a weird mix between a Dom and the Douage, but whatever. And I'm gonna bring more lore stuff, but again, it's a little weird. But yeah, let's get them to look good together. For recommendation and general availability, the Zaku Kai is available in most online hobby stores and hobby shops. It's available in like some like USA Gundam store, which I don't recommend buying stuff there, even though we do have a lot of kits available for like pretty good prices. The shipping is like $20. Even though it was like $10 or $15 shipping, but for taxes makes like $20, which is ridiculous, mind you. It's like completely ridiculous. I don't want to pay for that much money for like a kit like the Dolphin Wolf, which they have like both, mind you, on there, but it's just infuriating. But yeah, you can find it there. The Zaku Kai is also available in a bunch of other stores here and there. In like California, you can find like Gunzo, which has a couple there, a few others, and like in Friggin' Sons, like in little like Gunpla, like little booths there, does like stuff there, even Ninja Exchange too. But you're gonna have to like realize that this kit's gonna get raised up a little price wise, because the tariff server like has a big whole like limiting factor on the general availability of this mini. That make it a bit smaller kit, which means once again you can find like a much more higher prices on the aftermarket and also just general hobby stores. And it doesn't really help about that since the older kit is not as much available. A good example for like general availability I have in my collection will be Stormtrooper. Like this is not the actual Sam Brown version, mind you. This is just the standard version painted as Sam Brown, which is why it has the bazooka, Vacuum Bazooka magazines instead of the machine gun magazines, or M.P machine gun, mind you, magazines. So yeah, that kit's been like output for like 3 years, so it's never ever gonna be like reprinted ever again, which sucks. However, another kit that is gonna reprint, mind you, which hopefully I can get like sooner this year, soonish maybe, hopefully, not sure, which would be the Draisen, which once again hopefully it comes out much more readily available. I can afford it, mind you. I don't want to pay for $20 shipping, so like a lot of shipping, mind you, but it's like decent amount of shipping. So yeah, the availability of these things is very consistent. You can find it for cheap, for like $15-$20 again. But aside from that, like, comment, subscribe, and hopefully I should see you next time, and hopefully this video comes out on Saturday. I do mean that, because hopefully it does come on Saturday. If it doesn't, oh well. I probably was just copyright, because last video was delayed for like a whole day because of copyright. Was it done? YouTube? Fix that. Sorry for that.